Welcome to Networking RX, a podcast devoted to helping business professionals like you enhance your networking skills in order to become more proficient giving and receiving quality business referrals and improving the overall quality of your life and the lives of those around you. The Networking RX podcast is a production of AmSpirit Business Connections, an organization whose mission is to empower business success through networking.
Welcome back for another episode. This is Frank Agan, founder and president of AmSpirit Business Connections. I hope you are doing well today. Thanks to those who subscribe, those who are consistent listeners, those who share the message. Today is another guest day, as many people know, on occasion. Usually I will be just talking about networking concepts, professional relationship type things. But from time to time I will have guests on. And today I have a guest. Today's guest is somebody that should be somewhat familiar to people who are listening to this. Back in August 29th, back in 2019, he was on episode 97. That was my initial interview with Matt Ward. I had met him shortly before then and asked him to be on. And then I did a follow-up on that. I talked about something he had on his website called the Caring Assessment, and that was episode 122. But Matt is a professional speaker. He's a word-of-mouth referral consultant, and he's also an author, and he wrote a book called More: Word-of-Mouth Referrals, Lifetime Customers, and Raving Fans. Matt, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Frank. What's up? Happy to be back on the show.
Yeah, it's good to have you. Good to have you. For those who don't know, Matt and I talk all the time. Matt is now a franchisee in AmSpirit Business Connections. I'm gonna plug in for
Right on.
Yeah. So if you're in Massachusetts and you're looking for a great opportunity to network with other business professionals, you need to reach out to Matt, and we'll include his contact information in the show notes.
Yeah, as the GOAT always says, let's go.
The GOAT is the quarterback for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tom Brady, yeah. That was
he is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Well, I'm a Michigan fan, so I'm a big fan of Tom Brady as well. So yeah. I hear you. Anyhow, I've read your book. I love it. I quote from it frequently with the Networking RX Minute. For those who don't know, I have a daily podcast where I just share a 1-minute insight or referral tip. And so I've gone to Matt's book and pull little quotes out of there and make comments on that. But one of the things you talked about there, I really wanted to get you on to elaborate on, was the whole notion of care packages. And we all know what a care package is. Well, depending upon when you went to college. When I went to college, that was the big thing, right? There was like one phone in the whole dorm, 200 people, and so you hardly ever called home, and it was always a big pain. But the neat thing that your parents would do is they'd send you a care package out of nowhere. Would come this big box, and it would have all sorts of stuff that some things you needed, a lot of things you didn't, but it's great to have. So anyhow, let's talk about this care package notion and what you share about that with your clients and your audience. Sure.
Well, first of all, thank you for reading the book. I mean, that makes two of you. I'm honored. I'm super, super honored. So a care package really is I've kind of coined it as a singular word, right? Capital C, capital P. And a care package is something you send to other people that they would want, not something you would want. If you do a care package for a military person or a college person, a student in college, you're going to be sending them the things that they miss from home, right? So you send them movies, you send them books. You don't send them movies you like and books you like and candy you like and food you like. You send them all those things that they like. And so oftentimes in business, in relationships of all kind, but specifically in business, we send things like promotional items. And we think that that is a caring move, that that's a way that we build trust. It's not. That's a marketing move. And there's nothing wrong with marketing, but we need to make sure that we're not confusing that with caring, right? And so caring is understanding, Frank, that you're a Michigan fan. and then sending you some sort of a cutting board or a garment, a scarf, a pair of gloves, something that's relevant to you related to Michigan.
Right.
A baseball card signed by somebody who's like Tom Brady, for instance, who you would at least have some affiliation and understanding about. And it shows the fact that I listened to what you had to say. I understood who you were, and I'm showing care toward you and your life. Oftentimes, people just really try to disguise caring, and they'll say, maybe some of you have ever been on the receiving end of a LinkedIn message where it will say something like this: "Good afternoon, and thanks for connecting. I'm reaching out today to all of my connections. First of all of my connections, to offer a free call or a virtual meeting to see how I can be of service." And the message continues to go on and on and on. But what in that first sentence or run-on sentence sounds like they care about me?
Right.
First of all, they told me that they were reaching out to all of their connections.
Well, and sometimes you can see that it's not even individually sent to you. Hey there, it's spam.
Yeah, this started with "Good afternoon and thanks for connecting."
Right, not Matt or Frank or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, it was total bad form. And that's the disguise that some people have with this caring idea. And I think that that's completely misplaced. And if we can package up our caring into things that make others happy, that becomes a care package, right? And so, maybe it's just writing handwritten cards that have valuable information or mentions of our conversation inside of those. Mm-hmm. Again, I do a lot of things that are sort of packages like for people, but they're not care packages. They're marketing. If I mail my book out to somebody, that's a marketing piece. It's not a care package. Right. Unless, of course, somebody said, this would be the exception to the rule. Matt, I was really interested in your book the other day. And I know it's only $15, but I'm tight. I'm hurting. Okay. I give you a copy of my book. That's a caring move because we had that conversation and I'm paying attention to their needs, their wants, their desires.
Right.
Any other time I mail out my book, it's marketing. However, if I bought your book, Frank, and mailed it out to people, that's caring.
Right.
Now I'm helping them grow their business because of the book you wrote, and I'm giving it to them in that regard. So
no, I think
not enough of that is done.
No, I think that's a really good point.
So I love bacon, and my address is on my website.
Right.
Hashtag just saying.
No, but it is a good point that I often say that if you're trying to help somebody via what it is you do, that's just good business. But if you're trying to help somebody using all of your resources, all of your contacts, opening all that up, then it becomes a little more heroic, potentially. Obviously there are exceptions, but then it becomes heroic. But yeah, I think far too often it's a calculated move, and as you say, there's nothing wrong with that, but you can't hang your hat on, wow, I'm a great guy. I help my clients. I give to my clients. I give them the lowest rate. That's nice. It's good business. It's not. There's really nothing magnanimous about that. What are some examples of caring packages that you've received, other than bacon, or that you've?
I'll give you two.
Okay.
I'll give you two. So the first one does not meet the question you just asked.
Okay.
Because it includes bacon.
Okay, that's all right.
However,
but it was chocolate-covered bacon, if I remember.
It was chocolate-covered bacon. That's right.
I saw from one of your speeches online.
My friend Ronnie Bartles hails from South Carolina. She is a fantastic writer, and I love her blogs. And she's a marketing person. And she wrote about the difference between sweet and salty one time. And I was reading it, and buried in that context of a 1,000-word blog was a single sentence professing her love of chocolate covered bacon.
Mm.
And so I went and sourced it and then shipped it and had it delivered to her house. And it was fantastic because she went all over social media, tagged me in every post. And I was like, oh, that's cool. It let me know that she had received it, right? And that's what people do, by the way, when you care about them, is they go on social media and tell everybody. They tell their friends. And don't just think that that's just happening on social media. That's happening with their neighbors, with their colleagues,
Right.
with their friends, text messaging. They'll take pictures and send it to people. So that was one. And then there was another one, actually somewhat recently. So I was looking for this winter coat, but it wasn't a heavy winter coat. It was sort of a soft shell type of coat, comfortable, but not like, blizzard type of winter coat, but also not light weather spring windbreaker, just enough to be warm. And was on a Zoom call with my friend, who's a ghostwriter, and I was just telling her a story. Something had come in the mail that day. It was a coat. It didn't fit, and she was paying attention. And literally, like 4 days later, a coat in my size showed up. And let me just tell you, Frank, these coats are not cheap. Like,
Right.
it was over $100. Over $100 that she gave me this gift. And I was just like, wow. Like, I was so surprised and shocked. That is a caring move. That is something that resonates. And now every time I put that coat on, I think about Cindy, because she sent me this coat. And just because she was being nice, and I was frustrated that I had a coat that didn't fit or whatever. And I don't know. I was just being my good old self and just having a good time with it and complaining about it or something. And then so she went online and found the coat, or found a similar coat, And,
Well, the other story you tell was, for those who don't know, and many of you don't, that you have a vacation rental property down in Florida, and you had the client who.
Yeah, so I had this guy, Jed, who was from Michigan. He was my very first vacation rental guest in 2015. And Jed rented my place in March of 2016. And then about a week before he showed up, he said, hey, by the way, do you have the Big Ten Network? And I was like, what's that? Went and did a little search. I found out that my Comcast package down there did not have it, but that it was only $10. So I was like, all right, look, I'm going to add it, and then I'll let him know. And so I sent him a message, and I said, hey, Jed, I added it. By the way, there's a sports bar down the street called Gator Bites, and they specialize in Michigan teams. So if you go there, you're going to find a ton of other Detroit fans there, Detroit Lions and baseball. And so you're there in March, you're going to meet a whole bunch of other University of Michigan basketball fans. And so I said, so I hung up the phone, and then I was just like, that was good. I gave him some information. I gave him basically $10 for free because I didn't charge him for the cable network. I was like, how can I do this one more better? How can I just level it up?
Yeah, vacation rentals aren't cheap. I mean, he's not spending one night there. He's spending.
No, he was there for the whole month, I think.
Oh, wow.
At the time, yeah. And so so I called a friend here in Massachusetts who does some crafting, and she's been doing these customized cutting boards. And I said, hey, Marie, can you make me a custom cutting board with the University of Michigan basketball court on it and put the big M right there in the middle, paint it blue and yellow? And
we don't sell advertising here, so you're welcome to do a shout out. Go ahead and do a shout out.
So foul lines, 3-point lines, the arcs, in front, it was a top view of the court. It was so cool. And I shipped it down to him at my house in Florida, and he just loved it. Text messages and then social media messages, things like that. So what can you do as you're paying attention to other people? What can you do for them that brings joy and happiness to their life. Because at the end of the day, every business wants more referrals, and every business needs to do marketing, and every marketer will tell you that the reason you're marketing is to be top of mind, so that when somebody's ready to pick a company to do business with, that they pick you. And I would argue that if you create enough care packages in people's lives, that they will remember you. You'll be more top of mind than anybody else.
Right.
And for people that work from home, they don't drive down the street looking at billboards and other things, right? They don't see those ad impressions nearly as much. So just think about how you can care about other people. As I often like to say, Frank, that I'm not a big believer that we do business with who we know, like, and trust. I'm a huge believer that we do business with who we know, like, trust, and care about. That's what it is. It's all about how can we up-level the people around us and do business with people that just bring us joy. And those are the types of people we want in our lives to do care packages with.
Right. People listening, how can they help you?
That's a great question. I do a lot of virtual presentations. I do webinars. I do, how can they help? I don't know.
You're big into introductions. I mean,
I make a lot of introductions to other people.
Well,
I guess a good introduction for me would be an association that runs webinars, an organization, a company that runs webinars that wants to teach people how to network virtually online with video chat software like Zoom or Microsoft Teams. Anybody in a service-based business who is struggling, you can send them over to our Facebook group, which is Get More Word of Mouth Referrals. And we talk about referrals in that group. We have conversations about how can we build better care packages for people and things like that. And it's free to join. There's no charge. We don't allow any advertising. So when you join as yourself, not as your brand page, because we don't approve brand pages in the group. But yeah, that's I guess how they could help me. An introduction. That would be great.
What's the best way to get hold of you?
Pony Express works.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
My website, mattwardspeaks.com. I'm on the Twitter world at Breakthrough Champ, and I'm on Facebook, and LinkedIn is a big one. Send me a message on LinkedIn.
Yeah. Well, good. I appreciate you being on the program.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Networking RX podcast. Please put what you've learned into action today and let us know if you have questions, comments, or ideas for future topics. You can email them to us at podcast@amspirit.com. That's AMSPIRIT.com. Finally, so you never miss an episode, be sure to subscribe to the Networking RX podcast through iTunes, Overcast, or however you receive your podcasts. Now get out and network with someone.
The Networking RX podcast is the copyright production of AmSpirit Business Connection. All rights reserved.